Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Bigger Podcast. We're very privileged to have Kathy with a K, Joyce, on this podcast.
I know people spell my name wrong a million times, so I'm like, spell it right, talk
It's
about
a
it
thing,
right.
because there's someone right now who keeps texting me in Kieth, and I'm like, please
Oh,
stop
I know,
it.
and that's, I know.
It's
I
You
know.
can't correct it.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Alexis?
Well, no, funny, one of my wee mamas shouted to Kira this morning. She asked me she's like, is it Alex or Alexis? She's like, I met like our mutual friend the other day. She's like, oh, I'm training with Alexis, and our mutual friend Michelle was like, it's Alex, and she's like, oh, is it? I've been calling her Alexis this whole time.
I know.
But it's actually very confusing because I called you Alexis for a long time.
I'm so used to it now.
Brian
Some people,
still does.
correct
Oh
me.
my God.
Did you say Alex with an S? I say Kathy with a K.
It's like Alex, like the
Do you
boy.
say
Alex.
Kathy?
I do
with a
say
K.
Kathy with a K. Well, not when but if it's like, if I'm putting out a form, because the first thing that people just spell it with a C.
Ah,
and that's
yes.
important.
If I'm filling the form, I'm just like, yeah, ALEX, that's perfect. I know, correct them if I'm doing that. There.
Whenever we were in school, I was given Alex Ferguson's coursework to copy. CCA, you know the crack. And my teacher was like, here, just copy this, because my work was going to be moderated, and it was Alex Ferguson, ALEX, and I was like, I wonder what chap this belongs to, what fella
I
this is.
tried to change my name in school, but then the teachers kept telling me to spell it properly.
Oh.
I suppose they wanted it to be.
Coinciding with the right.
Yeah.
But anyway, Kathy Joyce, physio,
Yes.
entrepreneur, can we call you that, yeah?
Well,
Because
yeah.
my inbox is full of entrepreneurial questions from you.
Loosely.
Mummy and wife.
A skilled
amongst many
footballer as well. Very
Once
skilled,
upon a
Sporty.
time. Once
Well,
upon a
very
time.
sporty.
Yeah.
things. So the way we always get into these podcasts is we like to get people to know you. People know you from your work and stuff, but they don't know who you actually are and where you're from, if that
Okay.
makes sense. So we always ask you, what is your earliest memory of just anything? And then we come from there.
As in, like, from my childhood, what
Yeah.
my
Yeah, it could
earliest.
be, yeah.
Do you know,
If you can think
I
back
don't
that
know
far.
what. Oh, I know it's a really long time ago. But I don't know what age I would have been. And this has just came off the top of my head. It's not like it's something I've ever talked about. No one's ever asked me that question.
Yeah, it's really hard though.
Yeah, but I have a memory of being on my daddy's shoulders, and he was walking around Spring Hill. I don't know what we were doing.
Oh,
It must have
that's
been just
lovely.
in a wee nature walk. And whenever we were growing up, I was the youngest for 7 years. Thanks, Grace. And so I always
I don't
was
think
one
it's
that.
Favorite
Grace's
anymore.
fault.
This is the favourite.
So I was always one that got to get the wee carries and things like that. So yeah, I have a memory of that. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. That's a lovely memory to have.
And so you grew up around Moneymore?
Moneymore, yep, out the Spring Hill Road, and out in the countryside. So Moneymore,
You see, as a townie and now living out in the sticks, I appreciate people who aren't townies.
Aye.
They have such a better way of life.
Countryside, yeah, that's all I ever knew. Like, to go to the shop, you would have had to have waited for somebody home to be able to, drive you to the shops. Now where I live where I'm at in Mahara, I'm still outside the town, but I'm within walking distance, so
Yes.
it's like a nice wee
The
location.
kids will appreciate that when
Yeah.
they're older,
Yeah.
Because I lived in Markerfelt for like 15 years, and right in the city centre, city centre, but town centre. I could walk everywhere. And then we moved out to the country, and I couldn't drive at this stage. And as you say, like, you needed a lift to go
Oh,
everywhere,
yeah.
and I thought my world was ending.
Oh no, but there's
Because
so
I was like a teenager and needed like to go up the town with my friends, and I couldn't, and I was like, this is awful.
Oh no, but there's
my
so
life was
many
over.
opportunities in the countryside, like where you can like.
Cow
I
tapping.
remember what.
All I could hear was cows. I'm like, I'm sick of hearing cows.
Oh, like going down the fields and going on bicycle rides with your friends. Like that was like when you had the phones, like the ones that you dialed, and you'd go, all right,
Before my
I'm
time.
leaving my
Some
house
people
now.
listening
I'll
not
meet
even know
you.
what they are,
I'll meet you halfway, and yeah, just going on wee cycles around the countryside and all. So it was great.
Remember
I
them
loved-
days when you had to make plans and just hope the person
Showed up.
Or you
Yeah.
used to rap her door and be like, is Alex coming out today?
Yeah. And you maybe their parents might have been like scary or something. You're like, oh, I don't want to call for them today, because you were nervous of them.
But there's something nice about that, isn't there? Like that everything wasn't just on the end of a phone.
That's the thing, we have the best of both generations. Like we were
Yeah.
before the internet, and
Yeah.
now we're with the internet.
Yeah.
Well, with the internet.
So I remember you just come home when the street lights turned on, or Mum would stand on the front doorstep and just roar till as
Yeah.
loud as she could, wherever we
Time
were.
to
We could
get
hear
in.
her. It was time to go to bed, or
Or they'd ring your friend's mum and be like, are they near your house? Send them up.
yeah, they were good times.
But it wasn't until I moved so whenever me and Alex started dating, I started going out to coke, and people knew you were on coke because you couldn't.
That's funny. You say Coke.
Coke?
Coke.
What do you say?
Coke.
you say
what do you-
Coke,
what do you
Coke,
say?
like Coke the drink.
Do you say Coke?
Aye,
Yes,
like
right.
it's called. But it's spelled cough, to be fair. But people knew you were out there because when they rang you, there was no signal out there. And it was
Yeah.
something so lovely about that.
Oh,
Yeah, now
like-
they have the cell
Now they got
tower, so,
5G.
yeah, the internet's really, really good. Better than the Wi-Fi out there now.
Aye, so Spring Hill, tell us how long what did you do around there? Like, what school did you go to from there?
We grew up in Moneymore, went to Moneymore St Patrick's Primary School.
Is that the one on the hill?
That's the one on the hill, yeah.
Lovely.
So
That's a lovely looking wee school.
it was a good school. I have really lovely school memories. I have lovely school memories of both primary school and secondary school. I suppose most of my primary school was like I loved sport. Like
I was going to say,
loved sports day. I loved playing, football, camogie, anything that was going, I was playing it.
Back in sports day when you got a first, second, third instead of participation.
Everyone wins now.
I know, it's all about
We're quite
participation and
competitive.
all
Yeah, I
that
know.
there. Yes, the competitive gene in our family is very, very
can't imagine.
Must have been your mum and dad must have been like, separating everybody.
Yeah. No, so loved. I had really good fond memories of primary school, and suppose Mary Angela and I have an older brother Martin, and they all had went through before me, and they went to the convent, and so whenever I was going to that stage, I was like, I'm going to the convent too. I just didn't think anything else. Obviously you had to do your transfer 11 plus at that stage, and we have good laughs about it now, but at the time it was such a pivotal moment, and I know that sounds so strange, but for an 11-year-old that's a huge memory for me, that I felt that I had failed, and this is where I find 11 plus, I just think, oh my gosh, and they've done so much to try and take away it, but I think it's made it this
So
worse
much
at the minute.
pressure
I
for
think it's
kids
even now, so I just thought, because I was always good at school, I never really had to work too hard, and I played football in the evening times and just got my grades, didn't have to think too much, did the 11 plus and came out, thought it was easy. Obviously it wasn't, because obviously when I got my results and I was looking for my A and I couldn't find it because it was a C1. And it was one of those moments we have a good laugh about now. Mummy and Daddy are videoing on the big VCR recorders, and it's like I'm sitting like this, and then next thing it's like do when they realise, oh no, she didn't get her A. So at that moment
Did
it was
they keep
like,
recording?
oh no, it just went down. That was it. Cut. But so there my life changed, because I just I'd foreseen myself being in the convent, going there, playing camogie, playing, there wasn't ladies football in the school at that stage, but just chasing the other ones to Martin and Mary Angela. And then I remember having the conversation with Mummy and Daddy. I was like, well, I'm just going to St Pie's. And that was, Mum and Dad were like, well, no, maybe you need to look at other options. What about the Rainey? And like no one in my school would have went to the Rainey. It was either you went to the convent or you went to St Pie's. And then I was like, well, I'm not sure, I'll be going on my own. And anyway, then I was like, Mum and Dad said, well, look, you can always move down. If you don't like it, you can't move up. So I went to the Rainey, and first year walked into the Rainey on my Todd, didn't know one person.
That's a lot for 11
Actually, probably knew one person in that whole 100 and whatever people. Yeah. So I walked in, and that was the change. That was the turning point. I had the best school years. Loved the Rainey.
Very sporty school.
A very sporty school. Ended up obviously not playing camogie, but playing hockey. Loved hockey, and just had the best school years. Such a great school, and I wouldn't have went there if it wasn't for that C1 in my 11 plus, and it also changed my
work ethic.
No, it wasn't that I wasn't a worker. I've always been a worker, but it was just that you can't
Couldn't
take
wing
it for
it anymore.
granted. And actually,
Yes. If you really
Kathy,
wanted, you
read
needed
the
to work
question,
harder.
don't jump head first into it. And yeah, so like whenever I worked I couldn't wait to, not that I couldn't wait, but I was like, the time that I was going to be able to show, like nearly prove myself that I was intelligent, was my GCSEs, and I worked my arse off for my GCSEs, and I got 8 A stars in A, and I was like,
Unbelievable.
and I bet you're going to ask me the question, what'd you get your A in?
What did you get in?
I bet you were annoyed all day.
I
with
was
that,
like,
eh?
no, but it was really annoying, because I did 8 A stars, and everybody always like, what'd you get your A in? I was like, for frig's sake, what do you want to know about what I got me 8 in?
They
So it was
always
English.
ask it, don't they? English.
Yeah, so there you go.
But people always ask
Some
that.
achievement.
Yeah, but that was because I got that C1 and that 11 plus. You know what I mean? I needed to prove to myself and prove to everybody else around me. And yeah, and the Rainey was just like, they facilitated that. So they were great.
Do you ever think back what your life could have been like if you had went to the convent?
I do, and I think, God, it would be totally different. And I felt the Rainey was a good school, because obviously it was mixed denomination, and like it was just, that was like normal for me. But like Mary-Anne and Martin, who went to the convent, it was like, just back then it was like, oh, they're Protestant, do you know what I mean? Like, and I'd be like, sure, I've got loads. And then I whenever we used to, it'd just be Ash Wednesday at school, you'd be walking around going, jeez, I didn't know you were a Catholic, because we were in the wee ashes, do you know what I mean? So, but it was a lovely, like there was no bitterness, there was no, everybody was just in it together, and having a great time. So I had loads of friends, Catholics, Protestants, and that it wasn't an issue.
And you probably
Best way
just
to
learned to, you know, make your own friends because you maybe would have followed Mary Angela if you had went to the convent. So you had.
Oh no, I probably wouldn't have.
Like no, I don't know her.
Yes,
She's not my sister.
No. Yeah, no. So it was good. It was good.
And then what happened after the rainy? Then GCSEs and then A levels.
Yep, stayed on, did my A levels. So ended up getting deputy head of the Rainy and a captain of the hockey team. The
I was
captain of
deputy
the first
head, just
11.
spitting that
Oh,
out
were you?
I was not.
What school did you go to?
High school.
Markfield High School.
Ah, very good. And they did A levels.
Yes.
Did they only start that? Here's me interviewing you now.
Yeah, maybe only a couple of years.
It was
before me, maybe.
Lindsay Fulton's years. I think they were the first year. They're 2 years
Maybe
above you.
Nah.
No, she's a year above
But
me.
me, so it wasn't long.
Yeah.
I done my part of my AS levels and then realised, oh my goodness, I'm not built for this sort of crack.
Really?
Yeah. I found it very hard. I see if teachers aren't chasing you for your homework and stuff. I wasn't doing it.
Like, I mean, I was so
was very-
disciplined.
very
I probably would have like worked if I didn't study. See, when you had them study days, if I didn't study for 10 hours, I didn't do it. Like, I didn't work.
That's
I mean, like
No,
me,
I
and,
was like
me
that
and Marianne
for-
would have been studying at the same time, and I'd be down. This is the competitive nature. I'd be like in my room downstairs, and she'd be upstairs. I'm like, I'm not coming out of my room until she's down. And then I'd hear her come downstairs, and I'd be like, I'll just do an extra 5 minutes here. You know?
That is so funny.
Yeah.
No,
So yeah,
yes.
that was
Yeah,
it.
it's funny the one he is kill the other one.
I know. I'm
No.
sure your mum found it like your mum's not wise. You know,
No,
up on
she's
the
good
pitch, you know.
crack. Yeah, but that work ethic comes from my and daddy. Like, and this is funny. I've had this conversation recently with somebody, and even probably. I know I'm jumping, but like even like with my husband Colin, like he comes home and does his work, really hard worker, but he will rest. You know, he will come in. It's the wee recliner, flicks the button, shoop, the legs go up. Do you know? Whereas I just can't sit down. Like,
I think
and
that's a
it's
wife
just-
thing though.
Is it a wife thing?
Aye, because I've
It
seen
is in our house.
I know.
It is, and then you see all these memes that other people are making. Like I'm a big meme fan, but like people are like, "Oh, my husband just sat down. I must give him something to do."
Oh, I've seen that.
That's the story in our house.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just going to sit down for 5 minutes. I've
Or
been
what
up
was the
since
meme you
4.
sent to me earlier? It was like, 45 minutes in, he maybe told me he was going to the shower, and then I just hear like the toilet flush, and I'm like, he's just off the toilet. He hasn't even been to the shower yet. He's been gone
How
45
long
minutes.
has he been sitting on that toilet?
I called the
Get
office.
downstairs, you have things to do. You know, so now we have a running joke that that is the way to do is like admin
Yes.
or whatever in there.
I
in
get
the
most of my
toilet.
messages replied to.
Lovely.
So if you ever get a message from me, I'm on the
Lovely.
toilet.
Okay, lovely.
Could just be a sit down pee. Yeah.
No, yeah, well, we work a lot too, but I can't rest. I've said this before until I have all my jobs done, and then I can sit down and maybe have
Yeah.
a cup of tea or whatever. But I couldn't sit down
Be
and
11
I
o'clock
still
at night.
used to do.
It could be 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
She'd be like, here, can such and such go into this class? And I'm like, please, I'm going to
Switch
sleep.
off. I know, but it's so hard to switch off. It's
I'm up
so
in 4 hours.
You know, so you have the early starts.
Or
but
we'd like a competition who's the most tired on the, like I worked yesterday morning.
So, wait to hear this, right? So, I would, whenever I used to do like more of the early mornings, I come home and I'm like, I'm wrecked, Alex. And she'd be like, I didn't sleep good either. But now we have whoops, so it tracks your sleep. And
Yeah.
we're in a community sort of thing where we can see each other's sleep. And I'll be like, you didn't sleep well, you got 8 hours of really good sleep.
No.
No, yeah,
I got
someone's doing
4.
me a bad one.
So who's winning? So now you can't even say
No,
I'm more tired.
you
There's
can't.
evidence
I'm
behind
going to
it.
have a wee lie down.
But maybe it could be broken sleep. The whip
Darn
doesn't
that
show you
whip.
how many times you're up with Mabel.
But
or-
then on Monday, just Monday past, she done the early class and she came home and come lunchtime she was
Aye.
conked.
But I still know I didn't sleep, and I still
You
continue
fought
on
it,
doing
you
the
fought
jokes.
it.
I know, whereas he would have went for a nap though.
And I go, nap.
Aye. No, it's hard. You nap during the day.
Oh, I
Loves a
love
nap.
a nap.
Oh my god, I can't
Aye.
remember the last time I've napped.
I wouldn't thank you for a day nap.
No.
I'd wake up feeling worse.
Yeah.
But like, it's depends. If you're up at like 4, you need a wee siesta. In the
Well,
middle of
4
the
is an early start now. To be fair.
day. Yeah. Over here for 6.
Yeah, it takes him that long to like 20 alarms later to get up.
Get
But
started.
anyway, we've done our A levels. How do we get on
Yes.
those?
4 A's.
Of course you did.
And through GCSEs and A levels, did you always have a clear plan of what was next, or
Hold on a
probably-
second. Why are rainy people overachievers? Do you not just need to get 3 to get into
so
uni?
clever to go the rain?
Oh well, 4. Sorry, I said that wrong. 4. I went from GCSEs 4 AS levels, and then I dropped the history for a full A level. So then 3 full A levels.
So you done all the work to get an AS level?
But that's what you did. You only did 4 for AS, and then you did. I did.
I think it's different now. Like, you know what I mean? They would maybe encourage you to keep it on, but
I do 6
yeah.
A levels for the crack. Like,
I know, whatever they're doing now. And there's A stars, maybe in A levels now.
Possibly.
Who
Don't
knows?
know.
Yeah.
say they just make it up as they go along.
Yeah.
But have you ever been asked for your results? Like,
No,
for-
like you know, they're so at that time. That's what I'm saying. Like my whole life has been shaped around that C1. You know what I mean? I always tell
And no
that
one ever
story,
asks about it.
That's
but
the
no one
most
asked that. But it's been instilled in me, and that you know that
probably the most important grade.
it probably was because it changed everything else.
And you were 11.
Imagine.
That's
11.
why
That
so
seems so
scary.
young, you know.
Yeah, and that's why I always see whenever they get the wee grades
How many
and
years
people
ago was
don't
that?
get the skill. Oh God knows, I can't even count. I got an A star in my maths, and I'm not going to start trying to do mental arithmetic now. So yeah, and you see the kids that don't get into schools now, and I'm like, oh my God, but maybe that's the path for
It's
you.
just
Maybe that
meant
was
to
the
be,
route you were supposed to take.
All for
because
that.
100%. And like, you know, all my friends that I have now, like, are all my rainy friends. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That
And if you
we-
didn't get that C,
we
you
went
wouldn't have met them, you know.
But
Yeah.
there really is so like, I love that word community, but they're so community
The
based.
pastoral care and all that. And it's a smaller school, and you know, yeah.
Because
like,
when we used to
Nothing
go over
wrong
and
with
watch,
combat, though.
we went
No,
over to
absolutely
watch
not.
Alex's brother playing rugby, and then I seen all the people that came to watch this sporting event at was school, and I was like, why are all these people here? They've nothing better to do.
Aye,
And they're
just
they all
Saturday,
love
like,
it.
you know,
they
Yeah.
love it.
Oh,
Traveling
they
the
love it.
country
So
to go
supportive.
watch them.
Yeah.
Whereas like, if we played football or basketball or anything, you got nobody turned up.
Aye.
We'll hear this first, right? Just want to interrupt this. So we were down at the shop today. We were in Home Bargains doing a wee bit of groceries, and this woman goes to Alex, "Well, how's the basketball going?" I
No,
was
she
like,
asked me, did I go to basketball on Sunday?
"What do you mean?" And your woman was asking Alex all these basketball questions. She played it for 5 weeks, broke her finger. I've been playing it for years, and not one
no one
person has asked me about it.
He was so cross.
I was like, "I'm the
You're like,
basketballer in this
"No."
family."
I know.
So she stole my thing.
Yeah, sorry.
Took them to a second place victory last year, and not one mention.
And is this a new basketball team?
Our team?
Girls.
No, it's been going as long as I went there when I was first year,
Right.
but I disappeared for.
Where did you play yours at?
It's-
Playing,
so the girls
the
have just
girls
formed.
Titans the
Ah,
same, but
very
just
good.
girls. I think we're at the minute they're
Ladies
playing
Titans.
for fun, and hopefully join the league next year. You know.
Okay.
But it's very competitive, clearly, because
Oh,
of
you'd
my
love it.
finger. But
Yeah, I know, I would love it. I just need more time. Like if somebody could give me extra day, or else maybe childcare, I'd maybe be able to work it. Because it's hard to juggle it with a husband that works away.
I know.
You know?
We're coming to that. We're coming.
Oh,
to that. And we're
exciting.
gonna
Yes,
dig
we're
in.
all
Exciting.
Because when you talk about Spring Hill, I remember when Colin came to the gym. He followed you home one day and he didn't know we lived in Coke at the stage, and he's like, he's going to think I'm following him. He was going to maybe your mum or dad something, and he was like right behind him. He was
That's
panicking.
right.
I
That's
was like,
right.
maybe he's forgot something and he's looking at me and he hasn't got my number. But anyway, so Rainey, you done your
Yeah.
A levels. What made you decide to go down the route of physio? You obviously went to university to do this.
Yeah. So physio, I probably wanted to be a physio from second year off school. Like so,
And that's
just
so young to know what
We're
you
recording
want
this
to do
outside, by
for
the
your
way, in
career.
case you're wondering who I'm waving at.
yeah.
We didn't mention we're outside.
I'm sure hopefully.
Yeah, they'll tell by the
Well,
shutter.
if they're
Yeah,
listening, yes.
surprise.
So at university.
Yeah, so from school, from playing football and having to go see physios, it's just something I was like, I want to be a physio. I
What's
just
the point
want
me
to be.
spending money on this when I could just
Eh?
get it for free?
Well, maybe
I can play sport
probably
and
wasn't
fix
thinking about
myself.
that stage because I wasn't paying for it myself. Do you know what I mean? And like even whenever the careers advice came in school, it was like, okay, well, if you've got all these like high grades, it's medicine, like dentistry, like doctor. I said, not they couldn't turn me. I was just like, I'm being a physio, and that was it. And
From school, you were like,
from
I'm
school,
going to be a physio.
yeah, I just wanted to be a physio. Like,
What
and-
attracted you to it though?
just the sporting side of it. Like I seen the physios running out in the field to me and helping me and my teammates, and I was like, that'd be such a cool
just
job.
seems cool, yeah.
I was like,
I've never looked at a physio and thought that's a much.
I can imagine, like on
At that age.
on a playing field, you know, them running out. You're like, that's like
Yeah.
they're playing with sports people, you know.
And
I
they're
never
helping
needed a
people get
physio
back.
till I was like near 30.
2-year-old.
No.
Older,
Older.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's not
I
what-
needed physio, I think, when I was about 14, 15, just was doing so much training, and ended up having sore knees. But yeah, I think that was just, I didn't really have any, like if you asked me what I applied for as my second choice on my UCAS form, I think there was OT, occupational therapy, but I never wanted to do that. Like I didn't ever consider that I was never going to get into physio, which is strange considering I got a C1 on my 11 plus, but by that stage I was like, knew
I'm
that if
doing
I
this
worked
and I'm working
hard,
hard.
I was going to get the grades. And I think criminology and justice was in there somewhere.
Well, that's a cool one, though.
That would have been a cool one.
Well, whenever Mariangela became a physio because she's older, were you not like, oh, she took my job?
Well, it's funny because we had this conversation and everybody thinks it's I followed Mariangela into physio, whereas I always wanted to be the physio first.
Okay, oh,
and
she
then
stole your
She
job.
stole it,
Oh.
but she was older. No, but she just was like, she wasn't really pushed. She was like, maybe a nurse, maybe OT, maybe physio, you know, just the caring profession. And then, you know, whenever she
Just
got into
fell
physio, it was
into.
brilliant. It was fabulous for me because then all her notes went to me.
Brilliant.
So I didn't
So you
have-
cheated?
Cheated.
Oh my
completely, yeah. All her revision notes.
Says me that took Alex's coursework whenever I was.
I just
I know, when you're ready,
renewed
like,
it.
said that in the podcast, you can go back.
So where did you go to university?
Jordanstown.
Jordantown.
And
did you stay
again,
down?
Yeah.
Did you
Oh,
party?
yeah.
Of course.
Did you though? 'Cause I hear you're a bit of a goody two shoes.
Oh, that's good.
Just before I go on, there's Marianne. Sometimes Marianne.
Bye, Gemma. See you later.
So you did stay down and partied.
You can't live down in Belfast and not
Oh,
party.
no.
Jordanstown in Belfast.
That's great. I want to know who
Outside
told you
either
I was
of
a goody
us.
two shoes. That's not the
Oh.
story many people would say. That's great. Yes, I went to Jordanstown, and the reason I went to Jordanstown, again, a lot of people in the uni go away to uni, but I never considered going away because I wanted to go play. Again, I suppose that was another one, is I wanted to play Gaelic for the Poly, Jordanstown, because they had a really good Gaelic football team, and you were going there and you were going to be playing along with all the other players from Ulster, all the top county players.
Brilliant.
So I joined Jordanstown, and that was my main mission, was to make the Jordanstown team as a fresher, and I did that. So I had
Freshers
really good
slang
freshers.
for new person.
Yeah.
First year.
The fresher on the team. Yeah. So that was that.
And did you know about, you were obviously played football like maybe through, well, not through the Rainy, but did you play it outside of school?
Oh yeah, so I played club, county, and for Ulster, and then went to Jordanstown. So it was a good opportunity to play with, as say, the top players in the counties, and realising that I could compete with them.
Brilliant.
And then we ended up in my final year winning the All Ireland, and that was the first time the All Ireland Cup had ever been brought up north.
Amazing.
Yeah,
What an
that was good.
achievement.
Yeah.
Like
The fame.
football, and you speak about community, like the community around football is mad.
Yeah. Oh no, it's brilliant, and it's good. I just think any team sport is brilliant for child and adolescents' development. You know, the qualities that you learn.
Plus, I'm going to say this. You see, even like, obviously I'm in the men's senior squad, but you see, whenever we all go get in the car and go away to a basketball game,
Yeah.
there's, I don't know what it is, but the crack's unbelievable,
Oh,
and
it
it's
is.
like, it's a release.
Yeah.
I think I miss that more than probably the basketball.
Yeah, and it's the friendships that you form, and that, you know.
We got to know each other better just going
100%.
to away games, and
Yeah.
we trained together for about a year before we went into the
Yeah.
league, and those travel away games were the best
Yeah,
crack. Like.
and then I bet you play better because you know each other
Aye.
better. Yeah,
Aye, that's very true actually. I never realised that's what it was.
yeah, that's it.
So, university's over.
Yep.
Where did we go from there?
What did we do? Then we just started into the working world.
Where was your first job at? Was it physio?
First job was in the Southern Trust, very short lived, because at that time you had to apply for jobs, and the physio roles were very lacking, you know.
Okay.
So a lot of our physios,
They were behind in times, would you say?
we not lacking, no. So more like there wasn't any physio jobs. So we graduated, and then there was a job.
Good influx of physios and no
Yeah,
jobs. for them.
exactly. So the demand surplus kind of side of things. So I interviewed.
What made you go to the trust?
Oh, that was
was just the
that was just
path.
the next pathway. You never, well, and some people did then go into private practice because they didn't have a job in
Mm-hmm.
the trust. To get into the trust was like seen as, oh my God, you've got a job in the trust. Well done.
You're-
It was hard to get in, but you just didn't. You felt you were coming out as a new, freshly qualified physio, but you needed experience, you know, and to go into the private practice world and be able to competently assess and treat somebody, I think I
Wouldn't be
would have, I
confident,
wouldn't
maybe.
have, no, I wouldn't have been comfortable. So got a job in the trust, and then ended up getting into the Belfast Trust pretty soon after that, and was in the Royal for a couple of years before I.
And what were you dealing with there? Wouldn't have been women's health, was it?
No,
Just anyone
women's
in-
health's way down the line.
Aye.
So I just rotated my rotations. So I did respiratory physio, I did rehab physio, and musculoskeletal physio, so outpatients.
Oh, like every day would be different.
Different,
then, you know.
yeah. Like you just rotated through the core areas, which I feel is really important because I have that background now to add into my skill set that I am now doing. You know, so sometimes when you look back, you think, oh, you know, you went a long way about to get to where you wanted to be, but
But you
I
never
didn't
know when
know
you might
where,
need it.
and I didn't know where I wanted to be at that stage. I wanted to be a sports physio, so then I was doing my sports physio on the side. So I've been doing my 9 to 5 job in the hospital, and then going into private practice. You know, working for another person up in Belfast, doing an evening there, and then maybe doing a couple of sports teams, physioing on running out onto the pitch.
Oh,
doing
you
all
got to do
that.
the dream.
I got
I
to
know,
do the dream,
yes.
and then I quickly realised this is not my dream.
Oh no!
It's like
Dreams dashed.
I
I
don't
think
love
the first
this.
time I ever experienced a physio was in the Royal. That time I was up.
What was that? Did you fracture something?
No, I was in a fire, but I couldn't because I was elevated so long. Anytime I brought my feet, I don't know why it happened. It's like a nerve sort of thing. All the pain went to my feet, but the woman was like, "It's in your head," and I was like, I was cursing. I was like, "It's
yeah.
not
He was
in
on
my
crutches and
effing
everything. He
head."
couldn't put his feet down.
Like they were talking about chronic regional pain syndrome. So
And like and they were like, I came in crutches and I could give you them, and I was like, I needed them because I cannot put any. And it was apparently all in my head. Miss Physio was telling me to do all this, and I was like, I can't. And it was getting so good.
But they didn't mean it was in your head.
Aye.
You know that.
Yes.
But when you're in that situation, you're thinking they're thinking I'm making this up.
Yeah.
But no,
But I
what
couldn't
they're
walk.
meaning is centrally driven by the signals from your brain.
But I physically couldn't walk, and then they brought in this experienced woman, and she came in. I was like, oh, here's another one coming
Yeah.
to tell me it's in my head or whatever. And she was like, can you do the 2-step dance? I was like, I can't walk.
Yeah.
I was like, but I'm usually really polite, and I was like, I can't put my feet down. She's like, just get up and we'll do a 2-step. And there was me dancing with this physio in the middle of the room, and
Gotta
she
move
stepped
in
away,
your
and I
face.
walked out. And I was like,
She just needed
was
to
all
break
in my
that
head.
barrier. She just needed to break the barrier to let you see that
but the
there
pain
was
was
there.
unbearable.
Yeah.
But as soon as
Yeah.
she done that
Yeah.
and brought that muscle sort of memory back,
memory
I was like,
back,
I was
yeah.
like, wow.
I remember you having to hop down the stairs to the toilet as fast as you could
Because the pain
then
was
the
so bad.
lesser amount of time.
Like,
Oh, gosh, I didn't
I've
know that.
never felt pain like it.
Aye.
But then she just like that. I was like, well, that worked.
That worked.
Yeah.
I apologise to everyone on the way out.
No more crutches.
Sorry for the language you all heard today.
But see, that's like where you see the benefit of like just a profession that can come
I
in
could
and
have
help
kissed
you.
her. Hey, only
I know.
Alex was, and she was about 40 years older than me. But so that was my first, and that was in the Royal.
Very good.
So how long did you stay there for?
I would say about 2 years. So I graduated 2008 and I left in 2011 to go to Australia.
Australia. I have
yeah.
America wrote down. You obviously went
No,
there.
Australia. Oh, I met America was when I met Colin.
Aye,
Yes,
we'll
we'll
get
get
there.
there.
We'll get
We
there.
skipped that. So in between, that was in between. That was between
How long
like
did you spend in
uni
What made you go there?
to where
Australia.
Australia.
But you went to America before Australia?
I went to America. So in 2004, I went out to play football in America for the summer. That was my first year of university.
Whereabouts in-
Boston.
Unreal. That's
I
bad.
lives in Boston.
So, like, as a county player and, you know, a university player, you get paid to go out and play.
And they love the Irish out
they
there
love
too,
the
you know.
Irish, yeah. But it's just a pure session the whole summer. So, it's, yes, you play
Mum
football,
and Dad were
but you
listening. I
have...
played football and I was good as
I
gold.
was as
the whole
good as
time.
gold on. Mum and Dad have seen some of my antics. They know the crack. And I met Colin that summer. And
Obviously,
so
he was on the sesh.
he was living in America. So
What was he doing out there?
He was working, just living, and he was born in America. So, and then his mummy
you
and
have
all moved home.
citizenship then?
So we've citizenship.
You Brit-
Well, I would have to go through all the paperwork, but I could get citizenship.
Get it done, like.
So Colin's he's an American citizen, and so had the crack that summer. Thought I'd never see him again. Lovely summer love story and all that. Now married 10 years, but
Just passed it there.
Yeah, that was it, and. The next summer, so we kept in touch via, at that stage, was it Bebo?
Bebo.
People love Bebo. We were talking about Bebo
Yes.
last week, remember?
Yeah.
Thank goodness Bebo's gone forever, isn't it?
Bebo.
People won't even
and
know
I
what
really
Bebo is.
resisted Facebook. I remember like some of my
So did
friends
I.
was like in England and they were all on Facebook and I was like, but it's so boring, you don't have nice backgrounds. Bebo's got like all these pretty backgrounds.
And you give like your heart to someone a day and you know
Send
everything.
them
Yeah. So then that the whole next year when I actually did contemplate, I was like, do I need to go back home? Because I'm having the best summer ever. But anyway, I went back home and thought I'd never see Colin again. And then he came home at Christmas time and I remember going to meet him in Sligo with my mum and dad bringing me down and thinking, oh my gosh, like, what is this going to be like? So met a couple of times and then the next summer I went back to play football in New York. And that was just to make sure that me and Colin were going to maybe make things work but not be too close to him. So he was in Boston and I was in New York. And then we met up a few times and then, we decided we'd give it a go. And he moved home in the September time with
He
me.
followed you
10
home.
years.
He
3
followed me
kids.
home, yeah. That's it.
What a
lovely.
stalker.
The pull of, the dairy guard.
The day. Oh.
And he's technically the Galway guy.
And he's a
now,
Galway
too.
guy,
Yes,
yeah. So he came home that
Geez, you
2005.
did do a bit of stalking. Baby reindeer.
Baby reindeer. I know. That's friend or Grace's Martha's. Her wee baby's called Martha.
yes, I
like,
know.
oh no.
Bless
I want to
her.
unwatch this show.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he moves home for. That's lovely.
So he came home. And then, fast forward
Then
to
Australia.
2011, we went travelling and went to Australia. And I went to Australia because there was a girl over there going, if you ever want to come to Australia, come play football for our team. So football has brought me around the world. Like I've been,
But
and I went
amazing.
to San Fran in 2010 on an all-star trip. And that was all through football. So football was a huge part of my life for so long. And
What made you stop?
well, I didn't stop until I still was back out playing last year, but probably like when I started having kids, then priorities changed, and then whenever
Time and everything.
time having the business. But I did go back after having Dahi and ended up breaking my wrist, and then ended up having to get metal plate in, having to get metal plate removed.
Was this when you were self-employed as well?
That was whenever I was working in the business, so it was a logistical nightmare. Marianne's had just had twins. They were 5 months old, and I remember being like playing the match and being like, I only started. It was the semi-final, and I was flying. I was like going, I am doing great. 3 kids in, no issues, able to play with the young ones, and just was in my groove. And 2 minutes into the game, I just literally put my hand out and it just went. And I remember people going, have you staved your thumb? I was like, no. I never broke a bone in my body. I was like, no. My wrist was hanging. It was just not good. Yeah.
And do you miss it? Do you feel like there's something missing out of football? It took a while to get adjusted.
I would say that, if you had have said...
that was your love for years.
Kathy Conway football, that was just like, if you Google Kathy Conway football, it comes up all my pictures and things like that. Kathy Joyce, yes, I had my football days as Kathy Joyce, but it's now a thing of that I look back fondly of all those memories and all those opportunities and all those that's carved out my life. Yeah, football and that C1.
Yeah,
That C1, yeah.
That carved out my life.
You've never thought so much about this C1 since you were 11.
There you go. So yes, no, it's definitely been a huge part of my life, but my life's evolved, and now it'll be putting that effort into my kids and letting them enjoy it.
So there's no comeback coming then, no?
No.
No.
big announcements in the podcast, no.
It's a no, definitely. I've done my time.
Folks, Kathy
hand the
Conway,
baton.
she's retired.
I'm done. Yeah.
So we've done Australia. How long did you spend out there?
had your first
Australia,
baby there?
yes. So I was in Australia for 5. We came home October 2016. So we went May 2011, travelled around Asia and all
Where
that.
did you went on Asia?
Yeah, and then I had Maggie Grace in March
Does that
2016.
mean Maggie Grace has...
Australian citizen.
And American, there's 2.
I know my kids are just got
All the passports.
passports
They're so
to the world.
lucky.
Yeah, so they can get American citizenship and Australian citizenship.
So they are literally going to live the dream.
They better not leave us. Kind of going. Well,
Are you like,
couldn't blame
are you
them.
very
Yeah.
much like go travel the world? Like, no, stay home with me.
No. I'd be like, go traveller. Like, see, literally, Mary Angela and me lived quite different lives. If you look, Mary Angela was very settled and, very much a wee homebird and loved going on her holidays and things like that. But travels was never really in her radar. And for me, I was like, I just want to get away. I want to go and explore and see as much. And once you go traveling, you're like, oh, I want to see more. And,
Yes, you get a wee bug for it.
exactly. And then when Grace was kind of like getting to that stage of going on holidays, I was like, go and travel. So she's done loads of travelling too.
Yeah.
So it's great.
I was never a traveller. I'm a real homebird too.
Yeah.
I always said if Mabel packed up and moved to the other side of the world, we're going too. Like,
Oh, totally.
We talk about Australia
Yeah.
sometimes, about going or working or...
It's
said
just
we would go up your auntie or your cousin.
the only thing I'd say about Australia, I loved my time in Australia. I loved the weather. I loved the just outdoor life. It was just
I'd go in the
Just
morning.
different way of living
fantastic.
over there.
The coffee is amazing.
That'd be right up your
they'd be
street.
right up your street. Just the culture is amazing. But
They work to live,
Yeah.
whereas over here we live to work.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
move in the morning.
oh, it's unbelievable. Like, they work hard. They work long hours during the week, but see, at the weekend, that's off. They're away doing their camping,
Surfing or-
But
ba-
it's,
barbecues.
we snuck off to London last weekend, and like I was saying, how because it's all public transport.
Yeah.
So after work, what do people do? They go and socialise, have a few drinks together,
Yes,
and they
'cause
can
you're
end up
not
saying, you're not dependent on the lift or
Yeah.
anything, which is like just a different kind of lifestyle, and I love it.
I know.
But when I lived over there, I neglected it. I never done it. I just
Because what were you doing? Working too hard?
well, no, I was
Young too.
Aye.
I
Like,
think
you didn't know the
income was
world.
probably a big thing too, because like London was an expensive city, and like we were paid all right, but not to be going and
Aye, spending
Yeah.
loads of money.
we went out maybe once a month and spent loads of money, and then
Yes.
that was
That
your millionaire's
Broke For the
weekend.
next
That was
week.
it. Waiting to the next paycheck.
Yes.
I know. Well, that's actually in Australia, Sydney. We lived in Sydney for 2 years and like had an absolute ball, but you couldn't have saved in Sydney. Like you earned good money, but you spent it. So then we moved out of Sydney and went up to Queensland and moved in to a wee place called Toowoomba. It was near the mining town because Colin was in the mines. And then we were able to save a bit of money.
Yeah, and then
Have a
come
kid.
home and start a new
Saving's
life then.
pouring though, innit?
Saving, I know. But we still created good memories. Like, you were able to just have a wee bit. It was lovely to come home from Australia and have a bit behind you rather than coming home and being like, oh, now I have to start again.
Yeah, and
you
get your
know?
house set up
Yeah,
and do all that, Did you build when you came home, or you bought a house, or?
So when we came home, we had bought a house in Australia. So this is actually quite funny because we bought a house, had a kid. No, sorry. That's all the way back. We bought a dog, bought a house, had a kid, and then 6 months later came home. you know, so
Like put all these really big
What happened,
plans
dog?
in place.
the dog came with us.
Oh, did he?
Brilliant.
Yes. My dad was like, what? It's costing you what to bring your dog home? And I was
did it
like,
cost?
You couldn't leave it.
It cost, I'd say,
But
£2
imagine what it
grand.
would cost now. Probably a lot more than that.
Yeah. But like, I was like, that's like even a
That's like-
child in
yeah.
Australia. So no, she came home. She's with us.
Did you have the intentions of staying there, obviously, because you...
Not forever, but I probably thought
longer
we would be
than those 6
staying a wee
months?
bit longer than 6 months after my Grace was born. And actually, it was
What made you come home?
Colum.
Colum?
That was just like, nah, we're ready to go home. Like he was like, I'm done. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I'll just pack up everything and move home.
I have a newborn,
Yes,
but you know.
yeah. But it was looking back, it was the right time. You know what I mean? Like there's never going to be a right time to
No.
pack up your life and move home. But
At least you got home before COVID.
oh yeah,
good
like
for you.
And you're coming
Yeah.
home to family to help too, because I'm sure you know we
and
maybe
that's
had some
it.
lonely times too.
I think having Maggie Grace, it was like, well, we want her to be brought up here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, yes, Australia's got an most amazing like lifestyle and all that there, but I wanted them to have our culture. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Our identity.
Yeah.
So that's and then Mariangela had
An accent
Dara
as
and let's get stick with the Irish accent. And Mariangela had Dara, so it was like I felt I was missing out on all those wee family events. So yeah, it was a good time.
So you moved home 2016, did you say?
Moved home October 2016, moved in with mum and dad for a couple of months, and then moved in with Marianne and Johnny for 3 months. And we...
Why did you
Should've
laugh when you
been
said 3 months?
No, I was just like, because it was actually okay. We made it work. And then we bought a house in
How
Moneymore.
lovely was Johnny to live with?
Oh, just fantastic.
Delightful.
He used to be like, so I've got sore legs. And I felt like, oh, I'm living with you. I need to give you a sports massage. So I was
you
like,
didn't.
"Ah," so like, you know, set the physio table up. And then I felt I was earning my keep.
I'm only bluffing just to get a wee massage.
I know.
He would be a
Okay.
bluffer too.
Yeah.
He's a hard trainer too. He's on whip as well.
Oh, I has. Yeah. Do you keep an eye on them?
No, he won't do. He
Like a
won't join
community?
the group
All right.
because he does to put some strain in on a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know it went up to 21.
Okay.
So I'll say
I don't
Johnny's.
even know anything about whips.
You need to get whip.
No.
Um,
I just sleep and go. I feel good.
when did Minister Pilates become a thing?
It
Who approached who?
2017. Oh, who approached who? It was probably me because I was coming and going, can I have a job? Not really, can I have a job, but more like, here, need a hand with them classes. I could help you out here because I was doing Pilates in Australia and I had done good few courses and things like that. And obviously
Marianne was doing Pilates at this
she was
stage?
doing Pilates here. We both did our very first level of Pilates together before I left. Must have been 2010. And then obviously I went to Australia and then she started teaching classes in Moneymore. And then she had her regulars. And
Was this out of the old hall?
Old Hall,
Yes.
yeah. So that was back 2010, 2011. So I'd say it was 2016 whenever I came home. No, before I came home, it was my Grace's christening. So it was June whenever I was home for her christening. And then I had suggested, let's, we could do some classes. And Mariangela was never really tech savvy. So I was like, I could set you up a wee Facebook page and, try and get something.
She's still over on Bebo, is she?
Don't even know if she ever had Bebo. So then I set up a wee. So whenever I went back to Australia, I started like working on a wee page and just creating a bit more information and things like that about the business. And then we sat down and we were like, oh well, we could make that work. So we worked out what she had put money into in terms of to buy the equipment, and then I paid her half. So then it was like, okay,
both in
so we're
this.
both in this.
Yeah.
And then we just started adding classes. And my big thing was whenever I came home was I really want a mum and baby class. And at that stage, Mariangela did have the pregnancy Pilates classes going. She was in women's health. I wasn't. I was still very much musculoskeletal physio. And I went but I was Pilates trained, but whenever I had Maggie Grace over in Australia, I had no one to look after her. So it's a bit like your mama classes. I was like, I want to exercise because it's hugely important to me. So unless I just went for walks or did
Yes,
my
you
own
couldn't
thing,
do
and there wasn't
anything.
really anything. But then I looked up and I found this class that you could bring babies to, and I went to it. Remember, I was 8 weeks post C-section, and the girl was like, okay, yeah, just park the baby there and go for a run. And I was like, oh, I haven't ran. Okay, this is right.
just
I'll just
leave my
start
baby
running.
with
And
strangers.
well, it's just like the baby was parked, but it was like I'd never ran before. I didn't know
Yes.
anything at that stage. I had no idea about pelvic floor. I had no idea about diastases, tummy muscles, or anything like that. And like it just major abdominal surgery, but she didn't even ask me any questions on that. And then it was like we were doing planks, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable to do a plank. My core feels a
Name
bit
and
funny.
shame right now.
And but she was in Australia. I can't even remember her name now. But I mean, she was trying to create something that you could exercise.
Yeah.
But and I had the physio mind to go, that doesn't feel comfortable for me. I'm going to do
Yes.
something else. But I was looking around the room, and all these other ladies were, trying their best. And I was like, probably going way beyond their limits.
could have been, yeah.
Yes. So then whenever I came home, I was like, we're going to create a mum and baby class, and that's what we did. So I remember
still
our first
going
mum and baby class ran just after the October 2016. So we ran a block up to Christmas, and I remember one of the feedbacks from the class. It was brilliant. Like, you know, the class went really well and all that, but one of the feedbacks was like, oh, I thought we were going to be doing more with the baby. And I said, oh, so then we had to really change it to be mum, baby's welcome.
Yes.
Like, it's, you know, it was a postnatal class, but it wasn't about
Optional.
the baby.
Babies
And I'm
are
like, there's
optional.
that many baby classes out there, you know, that it was more that the mum could come and do something for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't have to worry
No,
about
because we're very
childcare.
much like, they're like, oh, can I bring my baby? I was like, you're more than welcome, but you will do more if they're not here. But
Yeah.
the facilities here, obviously, to bring
Absolutely.
them, you know, because it is important for mummies to get out.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah,
very
and some of the
early
mummies
days.
don't have that option of asking somebody for childcare. So it is good that classes like those exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're getting more and more popular, I think,
Yeah.
now since. But you could have been like the creator all those years ago.
Oh well,
Yes.
we were able to start offering that there anyway. So that was 2016.
And
And then-
when did the station house come?
It was August 2018 we opened. We
That
started.
was like your
that
main
was
base?
where we got a main base. So we started running the classes obviously in Moneymore Hall, and it just grew and grew and grew. And
Probably because it was so unique as well.
so yeah, physio-led Pilates became a real thing
Mm-hmm.
back then, and it was like GPs were recommending it. Anybody with back pain, you know, and then people started doing them. They're like, oh, they really enjoyed them,
Mm-hmm.
and so we just started offering more and more classes, and that was in between us working within the trust. So we were still doing
still
our
had a
full-time
proper
job.
job, and this was evening
yeah,
or
this was
weekends?
evenings. And Marianne was in Women's Health. I was in Musculoskeletal here in Marfelt in the mid, and then we took on a few instructors to help us out because we couldn't do it all.
No, of course, like you as a family.
Well, we had Maggie Race, and it was just a juggling act for that, and. So yeah, I mean, we started our business whenever we just started having our families. So great time,
A very
isn't it?
good time
Isn't it a
and
great
nice.
time to start a business?
Very good timing, yeah. We know all about that.
Yeah. So it's just working around it, and yeah. So I had Q in January 2018, and then we seen the station house in March, and we're like, oh, there's potential here. Now the station house was a garage, like, you know, it was like a
It
mechanics.
sells cars, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were out, and we're like, oh, well, how is this going to look like a studio? So we put a lot of effort and money into that to create it to the space it was, and I had it upstairs in 2 clinic rooms and office, and then the studio downstairs. So it gave us a base to be able to start treating patients.
That's the first time I ever went anywhere near Mummy Physios when you went out there.
Yeah.
Oh, was that in the station house?
Yes, because whenever I was pregnant with Mabel, I did the online Pilates because it was COVID time, so that's how
yeah.
I
We had
got
an
involved.
office over there, and she would
Just
do it
around there, I
in-
would do it. You were
Okay.
in the instructor, Kathy, and I
Oh,
would
was
do it
I?
there, and then I'd come here to work in the evening. But then I got a real back spasms, and I think it was with yourself, Kathy. I was maybe about 35, 36 weeks
That's right,
pregnant.
yes,
I
uh-huh.
could hardly, like my mum thought I was going into labour. I was like crying that sore. It was so painful, but that was our first experience of being there.
I think you gave up your lunchtime to come and do
Yeah,
it.
I know. I was like, I need to get in today. Like I was so crippled in pain.
That's it. Like, you know, when you love what you do, and like honestly, that the physio that, and we've talked about me wanting to be a sports physio, and I just got to the point like that, and I was like, I don't love it. I really don't love it. And I was like,
That's
maybe I
scary
need to
too,
be.
whenever you
It
put
is
your
because
whole-
you put your
It's a
whole
long time.
time, and I was like, maybe what am I going to do? Like, I don't want to go back to uni. And then I was like, oh. And then when I came home and started teaching classes, I was like, loved that. And then whenever I had Maggie Grace, I was like, there's more to this. And then when I started to train myself up in the women's health side of things, it was just like a whole different
But there is so much
ballgame.
women's health stuff you don't know until you have a child,
Yeah.
or no one teaches you, or
Absolutely.
I remember the first time we were in the hospital, and the doctor was like, oh, we're going to do a sweep. And I was like, but we haven't anything packed. Because I was like,
You're like, this is going to happen.
I thought he was actually just going to go in and like, take the baby out.
If only it was that easy.
I know, yes. And only 2 weeks later, I remember being in
Believe it.
Pilates, and Amy was our instructor in my pregnancy Pilates class, and I was about 2 or 3 centimetres dilated, but I think Mary Angela knew because I had lost my mucus plug and everything, but like nothing was happening, so I was just tearing on like normal. And Amy's like, if you feel anything or anything's happening, just let me know.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, I'm grand.
Like some of the
Get through the
appointments,
classes, you
Some of the
know.
appointments I had to be on loudspeaker. I wasn't allowed in because of COVID and stuff.
I know, that was such a
COVID
hard
was
time,
a
no.
strange time. I find it's really hard for those first time mummies like yourselves, because I feel like you are cheated out of like a proper, like, just
We didn't go to any prenatal class.
I know, nothing.
just
And as soon as I had Mabel, he had
a
to
proper
leave.
experience, a proper
Yeah.
experience of
It's some
you know,
great midwives though.
Yeah.
yeah, but being able to bring your baby out and all that. Were you in lockdown whenever you had Mabel?
It was just coming out of lockdown, so as soon as I had her, Keith had to leave, so he had to stay inside until I was like in labour.
Yes.
So he couldn't stay. He had to sleep in the car the night before.
What date was Mabel born?
The 29th of August. So near the very end of everything was opening up again.
Yes.
But he had to leave straight away, and then there was no visitors allowed.
Yeah.
So I had to stay that whole day just after emergency C-section. Obviously couldn't move or walk very well, and
I still think's mad.
never had a baby before, and no one there to help me all day.
Yeah.
And like only I was like on my best behaviour, and I was like, I'm in no pain, like lying through my teeth so I could go home.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be in the
you didn't
hospital
want to
any
be on
longer.
your own.
You know, I didn't want to be on
First
my
time
own.
putting Mabel into the car seat
Yeah.
pram thing, and we had her all nice in, and the midwife just came and went whoomp, and just pulled the cord, and I was like, you just nearly crushed my child. But apparently we had her nowhere near tight. But you don't know. You don't
I know.
Did you do
Oh,
these
you
things?
don't know, and that is it. Like as a first time, yeah, because like my last baby, Dahi, was born in lockdown. Like we went in, and the hospital went into shutdown. I had him on the Thursday, and the hospital shut down on the Friday, and it was such a strange. But I still had Colin there for the Thursday, but then the Friday, like I had all the kids with their wee Big Brother outfits.
Like,
all
and I
that
think
there.
that's so lovely.
And
you
they
know, you
didn't-
see
yeah.
videos of that.
And then Mummy didn't get to see Dahi or hold him because she was classed as vulnerable until he was 4 months old. Like we joked, I remember joking at that time, going, "Sure, he'll probably be crawling by the time they get to hold him."
that's awful.
And he basically was, because he was on the go early.
Yes,
yeah.
I suppose when
But-
they've someone to follow, they
Yeah.
do go that wee bit quicker and everything,
yeah,
don't they?
yeah.
I know.
And then
It was
I
sad.
was lockdown not really beneficial for the Mummy Physios brand, no?
Do you know what's
Did
so
you not blow
funny?
up over lockdown?
We did, and it was like, I have to give all credit to Mary Angela, because she was on her own, because I had just had a baby, obviously. Now, I remember Dahi was born on a Thursday. On the Friday, lockdown was happened, and I remember Mary Angela being on the phone to me going, "What are we doing?" Some businesses were shutting down, some businesses weren't. And I said, "Look, we have to do the right thing here." Like, you know, so I remember like sitting on the computer trying to create posts to kind of go, "Look, we're going to shut down here. Hopefully it's only going to be a week or two." And I remember Mary
Weren't
Angela
we
being
all
like,
naive?
I know, yes.
Oh, like if you had known then. And obviously back then we had just started a block of Pilates. I think it was like an 8-week block, and they'd only done 2 weeks of it. And Marianne's like, "I can't give everybody their money back. Like, what am I going to do?" And the clinic's supposed to shut. She's like, "I have to get these classes online." Like, and Mariangela is the least technically minded out of all of us. But, you know, equally she could have turned around and been like, "Do you know what? I'll just give everybody their money back.
Yeah.
I'll go and I'll sit in the garden like everybody else and paint my fence and have, you know, a good time with my kids." Whereas it probably nearly tipped her over the edge. And it got to the point where I would be going out for my walk with Dahi. Colin was at home too, actually. I was lucky to have Colin at home. And I would ring Mary Angela to see how she was getting on, and I was like, "Oh God, this is just not good for my mental health." Because she's stressed, and then I'm stressed,
Yes.
and I'm
That's
sleep
meant to be a
deprived.
lovely time
Yeah.
to
So
be
then it was just like we were trying to get away, find a way to get it online, and you know, I was working in the background too, well, breastfeeding and all that, trying to source what's the best way. Do we do YouTube? Do we do different avenues and all? So she was able to pull it together, and she single-handedly, alongside Claire, our practice manager, like edited, recorded, edited. Now, the only saving grace is we had our classes planned. So for them 8 weeks, we had all the class plans done.
was brilliant.
So she didn't have to sit and go, "Okay, what am I going to do?" But then moving forward, we would have
She
thought
did have to do it.
she did have to do it, because it lasted for so long. And then everybody was working out at home, and this was the new craze.
That's
And
how that's how we were able to fund to open a gym, because we could
Online.
Because we had no money to
Yeah.
build an online
And
gym.
people would have thought, "Oh, I can't exercise at home in my living room,"
No.
before all this happened, you know. So it did benefit
I used to actually,
all of us
you know
in
why
some
that
ways.
logos in the corner is like in the corner like that? That's
Yeah.
because that was the corner we done all our
Done
sessions
your
at.
exercises.
And then we were like, well, let's make it really pretty. We had 12 floor mats in that corner.
Because had you just opened before COVID?
No, we opened right smack bang in the middle.
I
you
worked
did.
through COVID. I was an emergency business where I worked, so
As a
I went
COVID
to work. I
tester in
never got
Brighton.
out to stay in the gardens, and then he was back in England, so we were still at least having income, and then
Okay.
we could put it
I
in
remember going
to
and
the
doing the
gym.
COVID testing and being absolutely bricking it, you know, because you had to like swab people. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to end up COVID and I'm going to end up, you know.
Yeah, not
But
being
it
able to go to
happened.
work.
But
But was that work?
No, I was working. They made me, regardless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just call back to do it.
And then that's whenever I left the army, I was like, this is a bit much. Like,
Yeah.
but you have to give a year's notice. I was in the middle of my year's notice, wasn't I?
Yeah, and then call back.
That was my wedding present, Alex, was to leave the army.
To leave.
And now you were not forced, in case anyone thinks that.
It was Keith's choice.
Yes, I know.
Do you have more time or less time
What do you mean?
now? Like, as in, so being in the army to owning
Oh,
your
he
own
definitely
business?
has a lot less time now.
I used to, when I was based in Belfast for my last couple of years, like as a recruiter, we'd just go stand in the street and be like, oh, you want to join the army? But like, we'd drive down, we'd meet up, I'd meet one of the lads at the roundabout, we'd drive down and we would just mess about for 2 or 3 hours, go to the gym and then drive home. And that was my day. And I was like, wow, I got paid for this.
Yeah.
But I love what I'm doing now. I love it.
Yeah.
Never thought I would be here though. Never. Not in a million years.
But you used the term entrepreneur earlier, and I was like I wouldn't say I was ever an entrepreneur. Like, I remember actually working in a private practice in Australia and being like, I never want to own my own business.
Oh, surprise!
terrifying.
Fast forward a few
It's
years.
Yes,
terrifying.
I know, but it's just one of those ones.
It has
a
its
bit like
perks
yourselves.
and
Yeah,
cons, you know.
yeah. But,
No, but if you don't stop and you're constantly coming up with new ideas and stuff, that's entrepreneurship.
you're always, I know, that is it. And we're always constantly coming up with new ideas. And we're like, why do we not just stop and be happy with where we're at? But it's not ever because, we want to grow our business, but it's always because somebody needs this service.
Yes.
So that's why we're adding this service in. Do you know what I
And
mean?
if you
doing so
And
much.
that's
better.
then,
I always know if I have a voice note more than 2 minutes, I'm like, this is going to be a business question.
yes.
but
But
they're
is there like doing things for like women that people don't even realise they need, or it's not out there, you know, so you're doing something.
Because during lockdown, you had a lot of customers over the water as well, did you know? Like over in
Oh
England
yeah,
and
and
stuff, all
like
over?
you still would
Because nowhere
have
else
that
was
there
doing it.
recommended, word of mouth and all that. Yeah, England down south, there's quite a contingency of ones, and there'd be even people like, you know, even to come to clinic. Like, some people are coming from Monaghan and, you know, various different. And you're like, there is women's health physios out there, but sometimes, you know, whenever you make a connection with somebody, and
Mm-hmm.
quite often it's on Instagram, there's a likability factor, and
Yeah.
people are like, I really like those ones.
No, like,
I'm
and
gonna
trust.
come
Yeah.
and, you know, I want them to do my check, and then that's okay.
And it's so lovely though, especially when you get like reoccurring customers
Oh
coming back.
yes,
Or
it's just like revolving doors. I love
know.
it, and we get so excited whenever we see, they're in our pregnancy class
know.
again. And you know, like, really most, like, and me and Miranda will say, like, you know, our clients quite often become our friends.
Yeah.
And there's such a good rapport, and you know, and you'll see that in your own setting.
we started to see that now because Remama's coming 2 years, but we have a couple of mums that started Remama 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Have went, obviously that baby was born, came to the normal gym, had another baby, came back
Yeah.
to Remama the second time,
Yeah.
and even a couple, you know, it's so lovely just to keep them coming through. And as you say, you get so close to some people,
Yeah.
you know, and they become your friends.
Absolutely.
I think
It
it's
just
made
makes
me
coming to work that way a bit easier.
Yeah.
a better parent, because I don't like children, never liked children, hated them. But you see, being in Remama, I'm like, you all aren't that bad.
And then they bring
Days.
like a new reborn baby in, maybe only 8 weeks or 10 weeks, and it's so tiny, and everyone just wants a cuddle, you know. Or,
I know.
I'm like, I'll take them for a walk. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you'd forget that they're so tiny at that stage.
they're lovely. So what's the next big thing for the Mummy Physios? Where did the Mummy Physios come from? Because I really like it.
Because it's Mid Ulster Pilates, or
It's funny because whenever we went to rebrand, I was like writing down these words, and actually I remember the tagline, what we have, educate, empower, evolve. I remember where I was at when I came up with that, because I was like walking around the Glen football pitch, and I was just walking around and I was like, you know, because it was the time we were rebranding, and I was like, you know, what are we about? And I was just throwing these ideas, and I was like, yeah, well, like, we want to educate. And then I got E's, and I was like, I need another E. What other E will I have? So I had educate and empower, and then I just found evolve, because it was like, you know, thesaurus E. What else can we work
How'd you
with?
come up with your logo?
Yes. And the Mummy Physios, it was maybe a wee business course that we had done, and it was like, well, what do you do? What are you about? And then I remember
your
when
niche?
we were like, well, we're physios, and we physio mummies and mummies to be. But then I remember
Also
somebody,
physio men as well.
Yes, we do, because that was the thing. It was like, somebody did say, it was like, well, if you call yourselves a mummy physios, then people are going to think, well, that's only if they have babies. And we do probably get that sometimes. People are going, oh, I didn't know you did.
That
you
happened
did.
to me, sure, didn't it?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, my niece, or do you
Where'd I go?
recommend any physios for men? You're like, Cat. I was like, I bet Cat works in your place. And you were like, yeah.
I
Cat.
know. So it's kind of
Your
like
knee's the
trying
same as a
to.
woman's knee.
It's trying to.
maybe
get,
more like a woman's knee.
It's trying to get that out, because we would have done MSK physio alongside being the women's health physios, but then the women's health side grew so much. We're like going, we can't be seeing the necks and the backs because we've so much women waiting to get in for their issues. So it's like, we need to offer an MSK service. So then we do have that running, and we've got now 3 kind of, well, Cat's broke her leg. So there's another 2
Big up
other.
Cat.
I know.
Probably drunk.
I know. No, actually wasn't. It was like she was out running, so God love
You
her.
sounded even more shocked when you said actually
She
wasn't.
actually wasn't. I know. Surprisingly not. And so then we've got 2 other MSK physios in. So it's great, because that side is definitely growing without really overly advertising. I don't feel like we advertise that too much. So we need to probably work on our marketing strategy side of things.
But if it's working and you're not advertising, like, don't knock it.
No, I know. We just
And the
need
new like,
Your home of Wellbeing.
the home of
Wellbeing
well-being.
is
Yes, I
beautiful.
know. And what we would love that to be, and that's what whenever we.
is that a project over lockdown as well?
We bought
bought
it
it, didn't you?
before lockdown, and
That's the old Dalriada place,
That was the
isn't
old
it?
Dalriada, and
Used to be
it-
so moody.
It was
Dark and dingy.
It was just, yeah. And do you know? I don't know if Miranda told you this here, but that building before it was Dalriada was an old teacher's house where we got tutored. Wait for it, for 11 plus.
That C1 is back again.
C1's back again.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so like where offices is
You
where
didn't spend too much time there, then, did you?
I know. I was like probably going, I'm finished because I've got an A.
I don't need to go today.
I don't
I'm
need
going
to
to play
go.
football.
I know. Well, that's actually Mummy used to bring me to Irish dancing, and she'd like wave me off my way to go, and then I would like go back out and play football with the boys up at the field, and then I'd be back down before Mummy picked us up. And then I remember that Mummy came to her fish. She was like, "Why are you not in fish?" Well, because I didn't go, but I was like, "Oh, I didn't get picked." It's like, no, I was away playing football.
That's such a small world, though.
Yeah, so that's the
Full
home of the
circle.
wellbeing. So the home of the wellbeing, the vision of that, once we got through all the getting it up and running and all that, was always to have more services in there, not just us. And so that's only really happened recent times, bringing in reflexology, bringing in massage, bringing in counselling. Really want to get the counselling up and running, and that's
A
just
one-stop
all-
shop, that's
a one-stop
really
shop.
Brilliant.
Where people can be like, yeah, okay, and even for us, to be able to go, yes, you need release work. So you've come and I've assessed you, and I've got loads of stuff that I need to do, but you also need release work. Okay, go to the massage therapist, get that done,
Which
and
is
come back
brilliant.
to me, so we can kind of.
There was another place that opened up local that tried that, but then they didn't have the whole know and trust. But
Yes.
they asked me for advice on it too, and I was like, well, you don't have a face on it. Nobody
Yeah.
knows who you are.
Yeah.
You've just come in with like a big expensive brand.
No.
And it's macrofelt. People don't trust people. in
You
Macrofelt.
have to grow, and like literally, you grow from your backyard, and you grow from treating people at your house to ours.
Doing
Literally
it in an old
grew.
church hall, and
yeah,
then
it didn't just explode like
No.
that. It
You can't
just
just
was
walk
a
in.
build up
Yeah.
over time.
And some people don't really, they want just it to explode and be here, but they need to do all this in between to
Yeah.
get there. And that's where you learn your skills and get your experience and get people to know you too.
that's when people are like say to us like, oh, you've grown so quick. We only opened here in 2021. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, but we started putting the work in like 2017.
Before that,
Do you know, and
yeah.
like we had to get out and get people to trust us
Yeah.
first, because people aren't going to buy from strangers.
But it's like what you guys are doing. You're building a community. Do you know what I mean? And you're very good at that. And then people, you feel good going to the gym, and it's not just going to the gym and going back. There's the crack, and the everybody gets to know each other within that gym setting.
Well, funny when you say this, I was actually saying when we were walking from the stadium in High Rocks
Yeah.
in Glasgow, or was it Glasgow? It was.
Yeah.
We were walking back to the hotel, and I was like, Alex, see if you ever came to me and were like, here, I'm going to Glasgow for the weekend with the gym. I'd be like, are you mental?
I know.
But yet, here was like
Here-
us with 30 people over there and having the best time
Yeah,
of it.
I know.
I think you even got your parents to come over.
I
so
know.
lovely.
That was amazing, and like that, mum and dad
That's the first
loved
time I
it.
met your mum.
Like
Aye.
football's retired, so High Rocks is the new sport.
Mummy
you know.
and daddy loved it. Like Mummy was like cheering on everybody, do you know.
She stayed with the wee man that was doing the sled push, didn't she?
I mean, she's
yeah,
so good.
She was like, keep it.
Because she would have been in my Pilates classes a few times, and if she had walked in, my aunt would be like, "Oh goodness, Mummy's there," because she maybe couldn't concentrate if your mum was in the back.
Mummy
or
would be
your mum
making all the wee
jokes,
puffs
you know,
and sounds and all that
and then
there.
my aunt would
Yeah.
be worried about her. You know, she's like, "Oh no," you know. So I know her from being in the classes,
Yeah.
but she had the best time in Glasgow.
Oh, they did, and we
You had the best time.
we
didn't
had
you?
the
You
best time. And I mean, whenever Marianne's booked it, and then she booked pros, and I was like, what have you done? I was like, we are not pros. And that kind of scared me a wee bit, because obviously we hadn't done like the sled pull, and we'd done a few of the High Rock simulators. So
But you'd never done the push at that weight before.
we had
before
never
you booked the ticket.
Yes, exactly. So that was
That
a wee
was
bit-
back when you could book tickets. Now they're just going like that.
I know.
Like
yeah.
the High Rocks just blew up.
Aye.
You know, it
Speaking
was
of,
nowhere.
you haven't booked in for your sim this month again.
I know. Well, the thing is, there are all these holy communions, and Keith's saying, "Oh well, I can get you in at 5 o'clock, but these women have to tan, Alex.
Yes,
can you
I know,
bet?
I-
I can't go and
You just
4:30.
ruin your
I can
tan. I
do you
put
for
my sports
4:30.
bra on and then try and put on a nice dress.
No,
and
but
look
that would
pretty.
not work.
Instant will do the job.
Not at all.
And he's saying this, and he would have none of this to do, and he wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
I know, because the
Next
first time
one.
I ever
End of-
experienced it
end of
was
July.
remember the summer or the Christmas party, and I was like, well, we're doing the beach day the same day, and I mean, I've never had many angry messages from females in my life. Do you understand? We have to do our tan the night before. We can't be running up and down the beach at 5 a.m. I was like,
And then go out that
And did you
night.
change the date?
a week
Yeah.
before.
Oh, aye.
It was either that or my life. I was,
Yeah.
didn't
No.
really have a choice. But yeah, so tell us, what's the kind of future for Mummy Physios? You're just gonna
Yeah, just keep
when,
taking
when's
it as
retirement
it is.
coming?
Oh, I know.
When are you going to slow down to be honest?
Imagine, I'm not that old.
But when are
Any
you?
more like
when are you and
travels
Miranda gonna-
planned
See,
or
like
Well, no
it's so
time.
hard to slow down whenever the demand's there, do you know? And I mean, I think what we would love is to have more in our team, like as women's health physios.
I know somebody should go and do their physio
Oh,
therapy course.
there, Alex. But it's like, you know, when you train as a physio. You don't want to train and go, I'm going to be a women's health physio. But when you work in that area, it is the most, and you have to be really skilled practitioner to be a good women's health physio. And I feel the MSK, the musculoskeletal background, really brings that on, because you're offering everything. So like somebody could be in my room and like, yes, I'm a women's health physio, I'm treating their pelvic floor, I'm looking at the tummy muscle, and they're like, oh, I've got a sore shoulder, okay, so I'm just going to treat your rotator cuff because I know I can. Whereas if you didn't have that musculoskeletal background, you probably wouldn't be as competent to do
you're
that.
very just in one
So
area,
I mean,
you know.
you're doing everything, like, you know, in that room. So where is the Mummy Physios going? Well,
Would you franchise?
Definitely not.
It's
a no-go, because I'm just like, that's more stress and more pressure, and we've got enough with what, if we could just
reduce your hours.
I'd love to reduce my hours, but if we could, I think the online side of things is we've got a amazing online pregnancy and postnatal programs, so that's where we're going to kind of probably do our focus on to get more people on board with that program. Yep, so we are in the process of revamping our website, and we're going to be bringing a much more user-friendly online platform to the clients. And I feel like we've done really well in terms of the pregnancy, education of the pregnancy and the postnatal women. So they are kind of more aware of their body and the
Because you have these
potential
classes now for, you know, like pregnant mums and everything, and it's great to teach them about everything, you know.
Yeah, so...
You should do. Remember we done a first aid course for babies on Zoom one time. It was only us two in this.
Yeah, like
random
first time
moment.
parents, you know, like learning in case the baby chokes.
You
or
don't
whatever,
offer that in your home.
no.
You should.
offer first aid courses.
Yeah.
How to do like compressions and all.
Oh yeah, well you get that, you know, people can come in and rent studio space and things like that. That's probably...
you're going to hire someone to do that because it's a great course to have.
Okay, well then, if there's any first aiders out there. So yeah, but now I feel the next stage is that perimenopausal, menopausal woman, and what we've added in this block is a pelvic floor core. We did call it the Menopause Matters class, but I feel women are still a bit like, oh, but menopause is in my 50s, 60s.
Yeah, like
I'm in my
taboo names
40s, and yes, I'm having pelvic floor issues. I'm not postnatal. I don't deem myself postnatal, but I'm also not menopausal, because they don't realise that they are menopausal, and so they feel like they're in no man's land. So then we've changed that class to call it Pelvic Floor Core Restore and Success. See the name of a class, it makes a huge difference to for an inclusion, like whether women feel like, oh, that
They're maybe
includes
a bit
me.
embarrassed, or they don't want to just even realise themselves that they're at that stage yet.
And I love them classes, because like literally I'm like going, right, who's got issues, you know, or and
Bang,
sometimes
bang,
you're
bang,
going
bang.
like, I don't want to talk, and I'm like, right, well, do you know what, I can start off and I'll say any of the issues that I may have. Not that I have a lot. It's not for this podcast.
It's the same in our class. If we're doing regressions in class, you know, say like double leg jacks, I cannot do them, even though Marianne's like, you can, and I'm like, no, but I will tell them.
Do you feel like
regressions.
it's just a barrier,
Probably, but
a block?
I'm just like, this is what I have to do, so it nearly makes them feel a bit more comfortable, you know, or change things
We'll
up,
always
'cause,
show the regression. Now,
Yeah.
you know,
even
because
if
then
nobody asked for it.
you know, they just to give them that option, because they don't want them to feel like then, you know, maybe they're going to their fence, or, you know, they have to stop doing the exercise, you know, so it's nice to give options, you know, or whatever to it, and make them feel a bit more comfortable.
And I think that's important whenever you go to a gym, and I'll say that, like I was teaching my postnatal class this morning, and I looked around the room, I was like, their technique was just on point. I was like, unbelievable, beautiful planks, and I'm
There's
just like
nothing
going,
more
satisfying than looking around.
See a good press up.
Yeah. Am I good at
That's all I
press-ups,
need.
Keith?
Yeah. Thanks.
That's my forte.
I hate when there's planks
That's
and
my
everything in your
forte.
class. I'm like,
I
Marianne's
was
like,
like-
Kathy's going to be so good at all these. It's like, we're going to look so bad.
I called straight over, and when she was doing plank, I was like, come here, you watch us here.
Those plank rows. You're
Plank
like,
rows.
she's not moving. I
know.
Like,
body's
that's
so
the
strong.
Pilates.
I know, yeah. Yeah, because
strong
we were
core.
doing a bear crawl hold or like a,
Yes.
and Keith was beside me, and like, not.
Oh, I dropped
he
it.
was
Oh,
not
here we
very
go.
good.
Shame me.
And I was like, bend your elbows, but he's like, I can't even keep them straight. Never mind, bend my elbows. He's
that's
like, I'm
like
really good at this, you know, but I've been practicing always in Pilates.
Yes.
You know?
Because every
Yes.
time I complain about sore back, sore anything, they're like, oh, Pilates is what that.
Yeah. Have you ever done Pilates?
Never in
I'm
my
on
life.
I'm on a break for Pilates, but it all came together.
It's
which
just
is good.
getting
It's
time.
a good foundation, isn't it? Like, you know, but again, Pilates is not for everybody. And like my younger self would have been like, oh, this is so boring, Pilates, you know, because I would needed that hit, that
Yeah, it's
that
slower,
real
you know.
adrenaline
That's
rush.
the only classes I go to now, in like any gym I go to. It needs to be like the
Intense.
high octane ones.
But then, what do you do to get your down training? Like, you know, do you stretch? Do you? Yeah. See,
why I'm
that's
so
the
sore,
problem.
Nikki.
I know,
Yeah.
that's why
No.
this
See
same
if
knees.
I go in and look at the board and it's nothing too like like sinister. I'm
Yeah.
like, nah, I can't be arsed doing that today.
You wanted to be
See Saturday
full
Sweat.
on.
Oh my goodness, I love
Aye.
it. That's why I love High Rocks. Though.
Yeah. But High Rocks is like, so I love High Rocks because it's for everybody.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
you don't have to be technical, you don't have to be a big CrossFitter. You can go and you can
don't
give
need
it a
to be
good
fast.
effort.
No,
You
I
and
just need to
also
go
through my mouth.
it's everybody like
All shapes and
Glasgow,
sizes too.
all shapes, all sizes, all like some people
Abilities,
sprinting, some people walking,
People with
you know.
one-legged.
Yeah,
Ricky Banner,
absolutely.
Ricky
Yeah.
Banner smashing it as
Yeah.
always.
But that was a whole different experience, the High Rocks.
Yeah, no.
And we're off to
Dublin
Dublin,
would be
eh?
good, yep.
I know.
Dublin, November.
After Glasgow, I was like, we were in the pub having a drink, and I was like, right, what's the next High Rocks? Okay, we're going to New York in June. We're going to book it. And then Mum and Dad's like, oh, we're coming. That's great. We're all going to. So we're not now going to High Rocks. But you have to book it. You really have to act on that there. Because if we had booked it, I was so close to booking it. But it just, Mary's like, oh, I just need to check. And then,
You
see,
can't.
once you check,
You're
No,
right.
and then it's never,
You
the
know what I
thought
mean?
never
It's
comes
never-
up
it's
again.
never
Sure, we
gonna
got
come.
the early release tickets, and there's still loads of people didn't get them because they're like, oh, we've 2 days to sort this. You have 3 hours.
no.
tops for the early
Yeah,
release.
oh, we just booked it.
But the first time we booked Dublin, I booked mine 2 weeks before everybody else, and then I was like, he's coming, and then we had loads of
Yeah,
time. to
loads of
book.
time, but it's just so.
But then
so
Dublin
popular.
had to release more dates, didn't they? I think it
Next
was.
this year.
Aye.
Just the demand's there, so
Yeah.
they might as
Actually,
well
I didn't think
make
they,
it
I don't
for-
think they sold out last year.
Oh.
And now they're selling out in 15 minutes.
I know, and an extra day, so the demand's definitely there. Like it's
It's not going away.
Be
The
sport
amount of people
at the
told me it's going away. I was like, I promise you.
No, the amount of gyms that are getting affiliated with High Rocks.
Because that's what that
Yeah.
next door we designed it around the High Rocks gym. We were like, we need to. That's why the rig's way off to the side because the rig's not really used.
Yes.
It was all High Rocks based.
in space, yeah.
My only regret is not putting in a 4-lane
Like
strip.
grass, yeah.
That's my only regret.
R2, Daniel, we may sort that out.
Haven't done the poll yet in there. If Ian's got it,
We
up
done
and
it
running.
last month.
Aye.
You just weren't here, as always.
I know.
End
what
of
was
July,
happening
you'll get to July one. I think it's
Right.
the
People coming
27th
up.
of
There's
July.
people coming up from Cork in June.
for the. Oh, that'd
Yeah,
be
they wouldn't
good.
travel, I know.
Traveling from Cork to come to
Like
Ray
that's
Or
Academy.
what, you didn't want in June?
June, July, August, September,
Are we in
October,
May?
November, December.
Oh yes, you'll be able to come. I'm thinking I'm in June.
Aye.
Yes, you can come to the June one,
Yes,
and then
that's
July.
good.
Last Saturday
need to
of
on.
every month.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
how I
way
feel.
ahead of myself.
Yeah, sure. But anyway, we will not keep you too much longer because I promise you it will be an hour and it's just over.
Oh, that was good. That was.
I feel like there's still so much to talk
That
about.
was, like, very
pets
harmless.
And the turtle.
I
and
would like to get you and Marianne on the same time.
I told that Mariangela
I
earlier
think
on
it
in
would
the voice
be-
note. I was like, next time both of them.
Good bit of banter between the two of us.
And
We could
we'll just
turn
carve
you
out a
against each
few
other.
hours.
We could turn you
We'll play a
against each other.
game like sister against sister.
No. Oh, we're a team now. Like, we don't turn against each other. It'd be us against you.
Yes.
The Mummy Physios against Ray Academy. Plank
Sounds good.
challenge.
No, we definitely lose.
Actually, the first time you actually came to the gym, I remember Kathy left the 7.5s and Marianne went and got 7.5s, and then she went and got 10, so Marianne went and got 10.
But that's we still do that. I'm like, well, what are you lifting? And
Somebody's gonna
you
hurt
know.
her.
But we have our strengths and weaknesses, and we know. Like Marianne the other day, she was doing like whatever exercise it was. I remember there was 10s. There was no 7.5s left. So one of us had to take a 10. I was like, well, you're taking the 10 because she was better at that exercise than me. So yeah,
That's so good. Like for sisters, you're so
supportive.
supportive.
Oh, no, we
no
are definitely
competitiveness.
supportive. Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Maybe
long
in your
time to
earlier
commit to
years.
the gym, though. I think I had the torches for quite a bit.
Yeah, but it was like, but it's just funny how
It's like that away
you know,
annoying dog just gone.
No, I think we felt we couldn't make it happen for time wise. We're like, when are we going to go to the gym? Because if I'm not at work, I'm looking after my kids, and as we said earlier, my husband works 2 weeks away, 2 weeks. And then, so for them 2 weeks, I can't go to, sign up to a block of Pilates because for 2 weeks,
Yes, you'd miss every other
going to
2
miss
weeks.
exactly. So then Marianne was like, we need to make this work. Let's just
For
see for our
yourselves.
diary. Can we just put it into our work day? So that's what we have done, and
working a treat.
it is working
I'm sure
well.
some days you probably like, oh, I could have an appointment here. Maybe a client. But
Probably like the Monday morning, like if Colm's home, I will try and get to the 7:30 class because it allows you then to that full day of like business work, because when you go to 9:30, you're probably not getting back and
It's a
getting started.
7 o'clock class and she's always late. That's why she said 7:30.
There you go, 7:00 class in the morning. I haven't done it in a while.
Yes,
that's why.
obviously, of course.
Yes, so I really have been juggling between the 9:30 and 4:30 class off recent times, but I have been to a few 7:00 classes. Never done a 6:00, and I just think, who does 5:00? I'm
all
just
the
like,
hardcores.
It's wrong.
I know. But that is mad. I can't. Yeah, I mean, getting up at 6 is a good time. Like even if I'm not going to the gym or like if I'm going to work, I set my alarm for 6 o'clock most mornings. I give myself a bit of grace, but I like to be up out of bed by 6:20, and then what I do is get in bed and I go.
Better
up
grace,
and-
that's 20 minutes.
I know, well, but I don't have to. I could easily not get up until 7:15. My kids are at the stage where they're good sleepers,
Lovely.
and
We're very much, how long do we need to get ready? And we would get
Aye.
that back
and we
before
count
you leave.
backwards.
I
Yeah,
do,
like
yes.
do we
There's
have
no
breakfast
fudge
or do we
back.
lie here for 5 more minutes?
I'm standing in the shower brushing my teeth at the same time.
Yeah, so
And we're always late.
I like to be not be panicking in the morning. Yeah.
Oh, we
It's
need
a
to
nice
get
way to
that
be
nice.
fair.
Yeah, we're not like that at
That's
all.
why when we get here and we don't. As soon as we arrive and Mabel goes to our childminders and the mummies are coming in.
And they're trying to
we
make a
don't-
picture up here. We don't even take her to her
We don't.
childminder.
Anthony lives around the
Yeah.
corner. We don't speak to each other for about the first 15 minutes because we've just had a hectic morning.
It's like go, 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 all systems.
And probably fell out and not talked the whole way here.
Probably.
Sure, that's a crack. You fall out and you make up. That's the best part of it, isn't
They
it?
know in class if we're talking to each other or not. They can just tell the
The
vibe.
music's
you know?
normally louder, so you can't talk to me. No, but we'll not keep you much longer.
Yes.
That's great.
But
Thank
next
you
time
so
around,
much.
we need to hear so much more.
There's
about
still some
calm
more.
and
I
stuff.
guess when he just
Yeah, a
touching the
scratch,
surface.
scratching the surface.
I know.
You thought
I
you
know.
were boring.
But I probably am.
No, you're not.
Not a bit.
People won't even be at this, like hearing the end part because they've switched it off.
Not at
No.
all. No.
yeah, thanks.
So yes, thank you very much, Kathy with a K, and
Okay.
No
We'll
problem.
see one in
We-
their Lamb Plus.
wait, what?
Kieth.
K-E-I-T.
I know, I'm joking.
I before E, except after C, isn't that what it is?
I
But
know,
not in
yeah.
science or Keith. But yeah, that's my claim to fame. We will invite you back.
Yeah, get them
and-
both on
That's
next
right.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please,
no bother.
if you want to find Kathy, you'll find her on their business Instagram, which is here. He pops it all up. You know.
I thought, thought you were pointing to my jumper.
And she's
Don't follow her
wrapping the
personal one
Mummy
because she
Physios.
never posts anything on there anyway.
No, not really.
And if you want to follow us, we're here. And thank you very much. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. See you
Thank you.
later.
Bye.
Bye bye.